think that if I put nitrous oxide on my body, I'd become like Turbo?
No.
Why not? You know, like the racing snail?
Turbo?
Yeah, like the racing snail.
Yeah. I don't think you would. I think you would just go to the hospital, and have complete kidney failure.
Alright, there we go. Welcome to the Living Experience Podcast. This is Zach here, and this is my buddy Chase.
Hello.
Oh, little Chasey over here. Yes, this is episode 4 now.
Oh my god, you learned to count from the last episode?
I know, I learned to count from the last one. Last time I was struggling just a little bit.
There you go.
I finally got it in this one. This is weird. We're recording on an off week.
Well, it's not my fault I'm going out of town. I'm sorry.
I know. Chase is going out of town here this next week, so our recording schedule is a little bit different this time around. We're basically pre-recording episode 4, like what, a week early?
Yeah.
Yeah, a full week early, so it's a little bit different, but we'll get it out for you guys as always.
It still will be out on Thursday, normal time, normal everything. Just recording on a different day.
Yeah, it's a little different for us, but it's the same thing for you guys. Anyway, how's your day, bud?
It's been alright. How about you?
I've been watching Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah,
You were watching Revenge of the Sith, right?
I was.
Yeah. What's your favorite character in that film? Does it have to be Jedi? It could be like a Sith. It could be anyone.
My favorite character altogether?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Anakin a lot.
God, you're.
I like Anakin a lot.
Why?
And as I was rewatching this movie that I grew up with as a child, right? As a child, I think I figured out why I loved this movie so much as a child, and why it was my favorite one out of all of them growing up. Because Anakin Skywalker over here, the big bud, he had a choice. He had the choice.
The choice.
Yeah, he had the choice to choose the light or the dark.
Any fun. Shut up, Google.
Google, you're broken. Stay away from me.
What?
Anyway, yeah, I think it was I figured out why it's my favorite. It's because he had the choice to choose the light or the dark side.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you like his decision? Murdering a bunch of little innocent kids that did nothing wrong.
Not even that. The guy with the purple saber. I don't know his
Mace
name.
Windu.
Yeah, Mace Windu. That was a little like, okay, why the hell did you do that? But other than that, it's just part of the dark side, I guess.
Have you seen those videos on Instagram or like social media where Anakin has it's like a little stop animation. Anakin has like a pistol, like a 45 or whatever, and he shoots Obi-Wan with it.
Really?
Because Obi-Wan can think he can deflect it.
I am the high ground, Anakin. I am the high ground. You
are the high ground.
I am the high ground.
And
you're not going to win.
And then, he's like, oh, that was a lot faster than I thought. I'll just use my force heal. And he, heals himself. And Anakin's like, wait, you can do that? He's like, yeah. It's like, can I switch sides? No, you'd murdered a bunch of little kids, you little...
That little pause before you said it. Love that.
Because I wanted to say something else, but...
You can't. You can't do that.
I mean, I can. I just don't want to make extra work for you.
It's not even that much extra work. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just one more mark I have to put in the thing, and then just crop, delete, and then move it over, and then boop. That's it. Yeah.
Boop.
I know, it's pretty easy editing. I don't have all the crazy editing software, so it's not the best audio recording for us and whomever, but it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. They can still hear our voices, we can still hear our voices, and it's a beautiful, lovely time.
It sure is, bud.
Yeah, sure hope so.
So, what's the first topic we have for today?
So, for today's list, we have 4 questions, as usual, or 4 different things we've kind of been doing every single episode. 1 through 4 now. My question to you, or actually, let's just go down the list.
Okay.
How has social media affected your mental health, and why? Ooh. That's the first thing we're going to discuss. The second one is, how would you define happiness and why?
Ooh, okay.
Third one is, what coping strategies have you found for stress? And number 4 is, what coping strategies have you found for anxiety? So basically the same thing, just different. It's just an opposite emotion.
Yeah.
The opposite emotion. Well, you ready to get started, bud?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay. How has social media affected your mental health and why?
Ooh.
It can be after all these years. It can be recently. It can be like just altogether.
Just like a broad general.
Yeah. Like how has it affected you since?
It really hasn't affected me in a way, in my opinion. Like, for me.
You don't think so?
I don't think it's affected me. Like, the only time I usually use social media is just for, like, memes. I don't, like, really post anything personal because, I don't know, I just don't. Like, I try to take the time to be the ones be with my family members and the people I love.
Yeah.
Cherish the moment. Sometimes I throw a post here and there, but not very often.
Like once a year.
If that.
Yeah.
But I feel like social media can... This hasn't really happened for me, is like cyberbullying is like an example. Like, I've seen it everywhere on social media. I have not been a victim personally, but I know people who have been. And so I can see why you asked this question, because for some people, social media has been like it treated them awfully with the people who said mean things on there. So, and I hope people know this, but bullying is not okay. You little sorry.
You know, I think they know that for the people that do bully, but I feel like they just don't really care and think about it in the moment because they have their own stuff going on, and they use their own personal things going on to affect other people.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of sad, but
it's a sense of power, which is what we've been talking about the last 3 episodes, and still now we're back to it.
Yeah, but I feel like there's other options though. Like, you can talk to like a social worker, you can talk to a therapist. For people that don't know, social work and therapists are two different things. I hope people know that.
Well, yeah, but it's like, that's money though. People don't always have that. And again, like we talked about in the last few episodes, meditation, right?
Yeah.
People don't get taught that, and some people don't even know it's a thing, and some people who don't get taught that think it's stupid and never try and do it.
Sure.
Like, actually take the time to try and learn to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there's also like school therapy. Like, you can talk to a counselor.
Well, maybe they're embarrassed. So again, a sense of power.
Yes.
Because think, if you kind of quote unquote surrender yourself into the power, right? That's someone else winning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and also not even someone else winning. That's you, in some people's minds, that's them proving to themselves that they're not strong enough, and they can't do it on their own. Like, some people don't take the personal time to just figure out how to deal with it on their own and how to get past it. So meditation, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, to self-reflect.
Yeah, I can see your reasoning behind that. Power. We've seen it all, from Genghis Khan to President Biden, for example.
Not even that, just animals too.
Yeah.
Like, all living things have a sense of ego.
Like the alpha.
Yeah, it's all ego. That's all it is. That's all power is just your ego side coming out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the king of the world, so I'm the king of the den, in other words. It's all the same thing.
Yeah. I could see that.
Anyway, I didn't mean to get in your way about
You're fine.
Your story.
No, you're fine. It was just pretty much like I seeing like firsthand people being cyberbullied on social media.
Yeah.
So I kind of like empathize with them.
No, I get that.
Yeah. How has social media affected you, if you don't mind me asking, Zaku?
Zaku? One of my Star Wars character now?
No, like Zuko?
Zuko!
From Avatar.
Dude, I've been loving Avatar. I always have. Avatar The Last Ember. Not just the blue people. The blue people Avatar is really good too. The aliens one.
Oh, yeah. That
Yeah.
James Cameron directed.
Sure. I don't know that stuff, but anyway, no, that Avatar, that's been beautiful. Sidetrack. How social media affected me?
Yeah.
Um, it's affected me both mental and physical, actually.
How so?
Um, we kind of briefly touched on it a few episodes ago, actually a lot, where it's a distraction, social media.
Oh, yeah. I remember talking about that.
Yeah,
I think that was the first episode, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, anyway, it's been a distraction for me and a bunch of other people and a bunch of really, really close people. I keep telling them it's like, oh, it's distracting you, you're not taking care of yourself, and you're just sitting on your phone for hours upon hours and not doing anything, and then they're like, no, I'm not, it's not a distraction, I know what I'm doing. And it's like, do you really though? Because look at all the 2 hours you just wasted in your life.
And the scrolling.
It's the same thing as watching movies constantly too. It's all distractions, and it's like, yeah, if you purposely just want to just settle down, that's one thing because that's what you're trying to do. But if it's the moment where you're just bored, but you're just doing that constant scrolling just because you're bored, that's a distraction. Because think of all the other things you can do with boredom that you can figure out what else to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Boredom is the key to creativity.
Creativity.
It really is. And we started this podcast because of it.
Imagination.
Oh, yes. In a wonderland. Anyway. But yeah, it's what was the word? Procrastination, distraction, so on and so forth. And literally the key to life, I would say the key to life is being bored. Just think, if you're bored, you can come up with so many different things. You can find other ways to not be distracted, to be productive instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, for example, if your main goal on social media was to learn something, like how other producers do their design work and how other people do their editing, that's one thing, because you're purposely trying to look for something. You have a goal.
Trying to gain a better understanding.
Yeah, you're trying to go after something. Does that make sense? Yeah. So even though you're doing scrolling, you're still looking for something. Does that make sense? But yeah, if you're just doing the constant scrolling just because you're bored and you have nothing to do, I think that's stupid. I'm being brutal, but it's literally stupid, and you're being dumb like SpongeBob and Patrick. You're being dumb, and when I say SpongeBob and Patrick, because we talked about this in episode 3, you're literally a sponge. You're consuming all that stupid information from all the scrolling. If you're not purposely doing anything with it, then you're wasting your time. Quite honestly, you really are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's affected me in a lot that way, and that's why I'm kind of trying to be creative all this time now, and actually allowing myself to be bored. Like, yeah, people say being bored, you're literally just sitting there doing nothing. That's what bored is, right? That's the quote unquote term of being bored.
What the dictionary has it under.
Yeah, it's the whole stigma of, oh my gosh, you're bored, you're being bored, you're just doing nothing with your life, you're just sitting there doing nothing, sitting in your room, being all the whatever, right? That's being bored. No, that's not being bored. What being bored is actually allowing yourself to be bored and figuring out something to do with that boredom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's an action within an action. Everything you do is an action. So therefore, if you're just being bored, you're still acting being bored. You're choosing to be a whole different version of you that turns into something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to me, it's wasted a lot of my time. In other words, to kind of simplify all that, social media has wasted a lot of my own time. It really has. It's helped me learn a lot of things, most definitely. But it's also wasted a crap ton of my life and a lot of my time and a lot of my own personal time away from the people I truly love most. Not even that, but away from work and away from connections I could have built and away from creativity I could have had and imaginations I could have sprung. Like Charlie and Chocolate Factory, for example. Like that's a good one. Like all those people were just being bored and having a good time and coming up with more creative things. And how the hell do you think you became the? I don't know how do you think you designed that factory?
Probably off drugs.
Well, I mean, sure, yeah. Them eating blueberries and turning into some purple blueberry monster thing that Bob. Yeah, definitely drugs. But no, besides that point.
I mean, you asked.
But no, like he realistically probably not just the drugs, but he probably just sat there and just wrote stuff down, and just used his imagination. In a world full of imagination.
Pure imagination.
Oh, pure imagination.
Yeah.
My bad. So that's definitely drugs then, if it's pure imagination.
I mean, I haven't seen Wonka with Timothée Chalamet.
The new one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one either. I've only remembered the. When did they make that first one? 70s, 80s?
70s?
70s?
Yeah.
Dude, I grew up with that.
Dude, Gene Wilder in it, like, he freaked me out when I was younger.
I grew up with that one, man.
Same with Johnny Depp's, like, it creeped me out.
He made one too?
Yeah, back in, like, '05, he made one. Has Freddie Highmore in it, who's, whatever his name is in The Good Doctor, Sean something.
What the hell?
The autistic doctor. Like, he literally has autism.
Pee Wee Herman?
No. Not Pee Wee Herman. Hold on.
I don't know. You might have to look it up for me. You
am.
can clarify for me and the listeners.
He's in the Spiderwick Chronicles. If you ever watched that growing up.
No, I don't ever think I grew up with those ones. You said Spider-Man Chronicles?
The Spiderwick.
Oh, yeah, I grew up with those. A little bit of it. I remember one of those movies I was watching all the time.
Did you watch Bates Motel?
No. I don't know actors like you do, but... Oh, that autistic doctor.
Yeah.
Freddie Highmore.
Yes, from The Good Doctor.
Yeah, I know him. He's in a lot of funny videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Was him in the Johnny Depp's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh my gosh, he's so little.
I know.
Who the hell did he become?
A cute dude.
That
Cute actor.
Oh, hell no. You think so?
Not him as a child, but him now?
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Go after him, dude. Go after him.
Nah.
Just no.
Just no.
Just no. But yeah, honestly, I would say the only thing that social media has really brought me in a matter of emotion is, I don't know, what would you call that as emotion?
What?
Sadness? I would say in terms of emotion, the most social media has brought me is laughter and sadness.
Okay.
Like wasted my time. Because in the moment it's brought me laughter, right? From all the funny videos and all the stuff like that, and
So, like, over time,
Yeah,
when you
like,
realize.
over time when I'm really just sitting there consuming stuff all the freaking time and not doing anything with the stuff I'm consuming, yeah, it makes me sad. And it still does, even just talking about it. And that's why I'm trying to be more creative and trying to just be more outgoing and stuff and stop wasting my life and stop wasting my time and stop trying to better myself. I'm just sitting there scrolling and bettering myself. It's not teaching me anything, and if the only way it is teaching me anything is if I purposely look for something. But I'm not doing that all the time. No one really is. So therefore it's just not happiness. I'm not gaining any happiness or too much of joy from any of that, really. And it's not a good place to put my energy in, and put it in a good place to put my time and soul into. It's not right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Speaking of happiness, how would you even define happiness? Like, just for you.
For me, happiness?
Yeah, how would you define happiness?
That's a great question. Because I don't even know how to describe
I
it
know.
myself.
I know. That's a big word, huh?
God, I don't even know where to begin. I think I would define happiness as just like once like I accomplish like when I grad. No, I have a different approach to this.
Okay. Before you give your opinion, let me just give the dictionary definition.
Okay,
That way it's kind of like, okay.
so we know where to go off.
Yeah, so the noun of it, and it says skip it. It says good luck and then good fortune and prosperity. So similar to prosperity, basically, which I don't even know what that word means. An agreeable feeling or condition of the soul. Erzing? How the hell do you say that one? Excuse me.
Which one?
Erzing? Down here. I'm a little slow.
Arising
Oh, arising.
of the soul, arising.
Yeah, arising from good fortune and propitious happening of any kind. The possession of those circumstances of the state of being which is attend with enjoyable, the state of being happy, contentment, joyful satisfaction, felicity, blessedness. Similar to contentment, felicity, and blessedness. Yeah, that's what Google says, or
That's the
DuckDuck.
Google definition.
That's what DuckDuckGo says. So
The DuckDuckGo
yeah.
definition. Sorry, excuse me.
Hmm.
I'm gonna change this a little bit.
Hmm.
I don't think there is a defining of happiness to me personally. I only say this because I don't know there is a way if I could truly be happy. There's always going to be sad times in my life. I'm never always just going to be happy. I'm going to have different emotions.
Okay, well, you're not always just going to be sad either, right?
Yeah, but like, hear me out. Hear
Yeah.
me out. I'm not always going to be happy. I'm not always going to be sad. I'm always going to be in the middle. Because, sure, there are things that bring me joy, like games, Legos, and hopefully graduating here in the next year or two. Sure, those are all like bringing me joy and happiness, but is that really giving me my true, full definition of happiness? I don't think so. I don't think I can have like a true happiness. So to me, how I would define it is that you accomplish something and you're happy for yourself for.
I would call that joy.
You would call that joy?
I would call that joy. I would call that joy and being in a sense of contentment with yourself, not happiness.
Yeah, I can see why you say that, but to me personally,
I get what you're saying, and it's your thing.
I don't think there is such thing as like pure happiness because of things that go on in our lives. I don't know how to define this. I'm in a stump.
It's a big one, huh?
I'm in a stump.
Which is why I thought of this question. It's a really big one. Because we all know there's a difference between joy and happiness, right?
Yeah.
But the hard part is actually explaining something we truly don't even know what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It totally makes sense to me. Because I'm in that boat right now. Like, I can't even explain it.
Exactly, yeah. And like you don't even know how to explain something that you don't even understand, something that I don't even understand. Because it's still new to us. Not even new to us, but I feel like no one truly knows how to explain any emotion. Because it's just something you feel. It's not something you talk about. It's not something you explain. It's just something you feel and go through. Just like grief.
Yeah.
It's you can't explain it. It's just you just go through it.
It's just there.
And you just feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of went down the path of energy to kind of feel other people and feel myself in a sense of bliss. Not even a sense of bliss, but even in a sense of darkness, to literally just feel everything and kind of take what I want from it, take what I can from it, and learn from it, and grow from it in any single way possible. But for the longest period of time, while me consuming all this energy, I kind of went down the dark side. I really
Dabbled in it.
I really went down the dark side for a long time of my life, and I was in a state of deep dark depression for 14 years of my life, 15 years. And you were there for a few years of it.
I would say till sophomore year.
Till what, 15, 16?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. During that summer. I mean, everybody feels the emotion of depression, but you kind of have to fall into the act of depression. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's at that point, it's a mindset. Then there's a difference between just feeling a certain emotion and being in the mindset of that emotion. Because at that point, it's not emotion, it's a mindset. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So therefore, another thing too with what I'm saying as an example, if you're anxious all the time and you become comfortable with it and it's a normal thing, you're going to be in the mindset of that. Does that make sense? At that point, it's not even emotion anymore. It's just how your life is. And you have to make that choice to get rid of it. You have to make the choice to change your mindset. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's all kind of the same thing as, I feel like that's what happiness is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So my take of happiness is, to be honest with you, I don't even know how to truly explain it either, like in an actual diction, like a definition sense. But my idea of happiness, we'll put it that way, my idea of happiness is you can't, like you said, and I agree with you, you can't constantly be in a state of happiness, right? You can't constantly be in that, because there's always a wave of emotions. You're always going up and down. You're always going to have different emotions and different vibrations and different frequencies, right? Speaking of frequencies, if you haven't checked out episode 3, please go do that. We talk about pretty much the whole entire episode is frequencies and emotions and feelings, right, and vibrations. Yeah, it's a really interesting one. It's a really longer episode than we have been doing, but that's pretty much what the whole episode's about. So go check that one out. Continuing on, but yeah, you're going through a whole constant swarm of vibrations and emotions, so feelings, right?
Yeah.
So different time periods of your life. So I don't truly believe you can be in a constant state of happiness, just as well as you cannot be in a constant state of anger. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be in a constant state of an emotion until you let it fully consume you. So you're not consuming it; it's consuming you. Does that make sense? It's like Venom, like the spider venom, like the symbiote, right?
Yeah.
What is that doing to its host? It's controlling it, right? It's the host isn't controlling it. The venom the symbiote is controlling its host. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the way to explain how emotion works. Does that make sense? And it's a way to explain how mind works. It's also a way to explain how consumerism works. It's kind of all in one thing, and there's your kind of big key answer. Whatever you consume and whatever is going on around you, whatever is happening inside of you, so your own thoughts and your reactions and your own perceivement systems, you can either have the choice to let it consume you, or you have the choice to let it consume you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Those are two very different things. So happiness is just a thing, not a constant state. It's just a thing in a state of serenity, in a state of bliss, it literally passes through you and goes on to something else. To me, that's what happiness is. You're never in a state of constant happiness. You're never in a state of constant joy. You're never in a state of constant sadness and anger and resentfulness and so on and so forth. Every single emotion you can think of, or unless you wrap your mind around it. So for me personally, I would like to call myself, and I'm in a state of constant bliss and serenity and high vibration all the time, right? To me, I would like to think of myself like that. And I do think of myself like that. And I try my best to think of the world like that, right? Because I want to consume all the good stuff. I don't want negative energy in my life. I don't want to attract any of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also know that there are going to be negative times in my life. And I'm going to have sad times in my life. Does that make sense? So I wrap my mindset around the state of happiness, but it doesn't mean I'm happy all the time. I still feel what I didn't want to feel, and I still feel what I need to feel, and I still feel whatever passes through me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if you're constantly wrapping your world around it, so your perspective on life, that's what your life is going to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So to me, happiness is just another emotion, just like joy and misery, or even boredom. It's all emotions. It's all mindsets. It's all mind state. To me, that's the best way to put it. I don't truly know the scientific way to put it, but to me, in my reality, that's what it is.
In your retrospective.
Yeah, to me, it's just another one of the emotions. Just comes through and passes through, and you just feel it, and that's it. And it's your choice to wrap your life around it or not. Would you? I don't even know what the answer is. Would you call the opposite of happiness depression? What would you call the opposite of happiness in a matter of emotions?
I would say sadness, not depression, because there's no two completely different things to me.
Okay, how would you compare sadness to anger then, if you're saying the opposite of happiness is sadness?
For the opposite of anger, I would say the opposite of anger is fear. And I always say that.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
Like I said in the last episode, fear leads to hate. In the Yoda quote. Because you're hating people because you're afraid of yourself.
Not even that. Fear also leads to anxiety.
Yeah.
That's what anxiety is. It's fear. It's your fear is letting get in the way of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about this, I would say, in a sense of a timeline, in a sense of the past, present, and future, I would say, and I do think that I would say this is even almost factual from what I've seen. That anxiety is the future, so fear is the future. I would say that, and a lot of other people too. Like I said, almost factual. So fear and anxiety is the future, and sadness and stress is the past. And I say it's the future. I say anxiety is the future is because it's all sense of worriness, right? And you're worried about that happening. You're scared of that happening. You're scared of all this other stuff happening. You're nervous about that happening. Does that make sense? It's all in a state of constant fear. It's all a state of so fear. I say fear is the emotion. I say anxiety is the mindset. I think that's what that is. I truly believe that's what the difference is between those two things, and I truly think that's what the difference is between worry and stress at the same time. Is between past and present and future is you can worry about something that's okay, you're worried about it. But the moment it becomes stressful is when you're wrapping your mindset around it. Does that make sense? Like it's just stuck in your head. I feel like that's what the difference is. And at that point you have to make the choice to get a different mindset. I'm saying it like as it's almost like a purchase, but you're working for it every single day. So you have to work for a different mindset other than anxiety all the time and stress. I would say that's what that is between a mindset and mind state and emotion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To me, that's what that is.
I think that's beautiful, actually. It's really beautiful
Like,
on how you put that.
Like past, present, and future. And to me, and I don't know how I feel about this one, just because off of going emotions and energies and stuff and chakras as well, and all of it combined together. I don't truly believe you're just kind of in the middle. And you brought this up a few moments ago. I don't ever believe you're truly kind of ever in the middle, because you're always going through something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there might even be more emotions that we don't even know what it is. Does that make sense? Like there can be more emotions other than happiness that we don't even know, that we haven't even experienced yet. And I know we're still very, very young lads, and we're still basically children to a bunch of
people.
Yeah, to a bunch of other individuals out there, because you're 21 and I'm 20. So we're still very, very young, and we still haven't even gone through everything. We're saying all this stuff like we're fucking 50. I think it's a very beautiful thing that we're talking like this, and it's very intriguing that we're this smart. But no, there could. What was I saying before? I can't remember.
You're going on like 3 different things there.
Well, I'm trying to lead one thing
I
to
know.
another to another. Oh yeah, the middle ground. Like you were saying that you're kind of just in the middle. Like there's like kind of like a middle emotion. You're not feeling anything, right? I I think that's nearly impossible because you're always feeling something, right? So, for example, when you purposely sit down and meditate, you still feel that sadness, right? You still feel whatever you're trying to let go of, right? You're still feeling that. But as soon as you let it go, you immediately feel joy. You feel contentment. You feel serenity. You feel happiness, right? In the sense of that state. If and when it does come, if it does come to you in your own circumstance of your life, in your perspective. Does that make sense? You get all those things after you choose to let it go. So therefore, I don't ever think that you're truly just kind of in the middle. I don't ever think you're not feeling anything. Does that make sense? To the knowledge that I have, I've never felt that. And in my life, I haven't felt that yet, if it is there. You're always feeling something. So you can say, oh, what about when I feel numb? You know how like people
Like when your legs get numb.
yeah, kind of. But in a sense of emotion. So when people tell me that they feel numb and they try to numb themselves to not feeling anything, it's their way of distracting themselves from it. They're just choosing not to let go of it, and they're just choosing to bottle up, in other words, and deal with it in another period of life, which, not even statistically from experience, if you're choosing to bottle up, it's going to attack you at once sometime in the future. So, for example, if you're choosing to bottle something up and someone's talking to you like immensely and you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling stress, and you're feeling all these different...
It's all gonna come out.
Yeah, it's all going to blow up. You're going to physically blow up that person. You're just going to scream in their face, and you're probably going to punch them if it even comes down to that, right? You don't know what you're going to do. You don't have any control because you're bottling up. You're letting your emotions control you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I don't ever truly think that there is no emotion or a middle ground because emotions come and go. It's like a wave, right? It's like a ripple effect. One thing leads to another, which we explained in the last one too, right?
Yeah.
The last episode 3. But yeah, the future is anxiety and the past is stress. That's how I would explain it. Kind of explain those.
Now, we're gonna kind of segue into this. What have you used for coping mechanisms have you used in the past for stress? So, stress is still an emotion, right? Which means you still feel it, which means you still have to figure out ways to let it go. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Same thing as fear and so on and so forth. You still have to figure out ways to let it go. So the ways that I have figured out to let it go, and the ways that I have figured out to not even just let it go, but kind of just deal with it after all these years, is it's hundreds of things. It's to be creative. It's to just be creative or meditate. It's one of those two things. So you can even say creativity is meditation, right? Okay. You're still being creative within your own mind of how to figure out how to let go of that emotion, because it's still an emotion, right? So a more direct answer would be sitting down on your and closing your eyes and feeling it. You're literally just feeling the emotion, and I would say that is kind of the most difficult way to do it, but that was the most I don't know a good word to use. Not even efficient way. That's the most brutal way to do it. But to me, it's the best way to help yourself.
Like most effective?
Yeah, most effective way to help yourself. Yeah, the most effective way to help yourself. And I would even say it's the same exact thing for anxiety too. Like they're opposites, right? So I would say it's the exact same thing. How to let go of both things is sit down and truly feel it, but don't let it consume you. So you have to find a way to let it go. Does that make sense? Or it could be, as long as you're not distracting and trying to let the emotion consume you, So in other words, distracting yourself and letting yourself feel numb from it, right? As long as you're trying not to do that, I feel like you can do anything for that. Does that make sense? I feel like anything could be a coping mechanism to do that. Or not even just coping, but a way to just let it go and to experience things and to feel it, because it's all part of an experience, right? You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how. It's a brutal way to do it, and it's not fun all the time, but you kind of just have to do it. How do you go about all this, bud?
Yeah, for me, it depends what I've done in the past. For what, like, the most obvious answer for me is meditation. But even before I started meditating, I would, like, listen to music and, like, just play games.
Yeah.
And then it would just get my stress out. Now, this might not be effective for some people, but it was effective for me. And then, when I was in high school, I literally just dealt with it. That's all I can say. Because I was a dumb high school kid who didn't know anything about emotions.
I don't think everyone truly does, but
But, like I didn't understand, like, why the way I was feeling.
yeah,
Whereas now, it's like I understand
where it comes
why
from.
I'm feeling it
Yeah.
and how can I cope with it.
Mhm.
And then, like I stress out about normal things. Sorry, quote unquote normal. It's like, since I'm a college student, I always stress about exams because I don't really want to take the class again, because that's just more money that I have to put into it than I would rather not to. So, and then that's about it for coping for stress.
I mean, you really just said it yourself. It's a state of emotion, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just letting it come, and then it passes through when it's over with, right?
Yeah.
It's just how your life is kind of planned out, and it just goes down the
rabbit hole.
yeah, it goes down the rabbit hole of one thing goes to the next, and one thing goes to the next, and it's like Alice in Wonderland. You know how she goes down the tree, and then one thing leads to another door, and then the door leads to another doorway, and eventually leads to 3 different doors, and you make that decision. I believe that's how emotions work. Or not even how emotions work, but you just let them come to you, and you have to make the decision how to let go of that door. Does that make sense? You have to figure out a way to close that door and open the next door. Wow, I'm smart.
Wow.
That is a really good one. Oh, I didn't even think about that until now. That's awesome. But yeah, no, like, okay. Do you think there's a way to truly feel nothing after all of that we just said? Like, to truly just feel no emotion whatsoever?
To me personally, yes, because I've been there. I felt like nothing. Like, I felt no emotion. It's like, I should be sad, but I don't feel sad. I should be happy, but I don't feel happy. I just feel nothing.
To me, I call that numb.
You call it numb?
I call that numb because, again, you said earlier, if you don't feel your legs, you don't feel your limbs. That's called being numb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what would you even call that then? What would you call that mind state?
I don't know.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Exactly.
It's just like I don't know what emotion to feel. Like,
Yeah, but at that point to me personally, you're trying to choose what emotion to feel instead of letting it just come to you. Does that make sense? To me, that's the difference. To me, at that point, from what you're saying, I'm not trying to disrespect
oh no,
what
I
you're saying.
understand.
Yeah, I'm not trying to disrespect what you're saying by all means, because you feel what you feel. But to me, in a state of being numb, in the way of you're explaining, is you're in the mindset of no emotion. To me, that's a mindset. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think you can truly feel nothing. I just think that you're in the mindset of nothing is happening. Does that make sense? So kind of the same thing as being in a mindset of anxiety, same thing as being in the mindset of happiness, same thing as being in a mindset of fear and resentfulness all the time. Does that make sense? So think about it this way. What happens when you're... I need to sneeze. What happens when you're in a mindset of fear and resentfulness all the time?
For me, what I used to do when I was in fear or resentfulness is I would just hide in the corner and just let it take over me.
Yeah, let it take over you, right? Not even in the sense that you were literally surrendering yourself to other people. Does that make sense? You're surrendering yourself to your fears and to your anxiety and to your resentfulness, right? But when you're talking to people in a state of fear and resentfulness all the time, you are going to be afraid of a certain thing that you're fearful of. Does that make sense? In a state of resentfulness, you're going to not want to speak to that person. Does that make sense? Because of fear and because of something that has happened, right? So, therefore, that is the mindset that you're in, that everybody's out to get you. Does that make sense? Everybody's out to kind of attack you, and they want you to surrender. Does that make sense? But what if you're in the mindset, in the mind state of joy and happiness? What about that? So, basically the opposites, in some way.
You don't really care what people think.
Yeah, you don't really care. You're just there to take care of yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's also another reason why I truly think that being in the state of feeling nothing is a matter of perspective. To me personally, that's what it is. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect you, because it's just something you go through. And again, this is all of our own experiences that we're talking about here, right? But yeah, that's kind of my thing.
I want to add something. Or, actually, probably not. No.
Ask whatever you want to. I don't care. This is your show too. Let's just go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, dude. If we need to think of more stuff, we can.
No, it won't fit.
What do you mean it won't fit?
It won't fit.
We can make it short.
It won't fit.
What do you want to ask?
Oh wait, never mind. I have it for next time. Don't worry. You'll find out next week, folks.
No, you're gonna leave me on a cliffhanger now?
It's in the notes, so you can see it.
Well, I know I can see it, but now we're not talking about it. Now you're making it juicy for me.
No, it'll fit better with the first question.
The first one?
Of next week.
Number 1?
Yeah.
You know, I was so close to bringing that up in this episode, but no, we're just gonna have to wait till the next episode for that, because that's kind of...
I'll write it down.
I'll say next episode's gonna be the good one. As I feel like every episode's been a good one. Like every episode hasn't just been us kind of talking nonsense. Every single one's been kind of, not even just kind of, every single episode's been us talking about something everybody can gain from.
Yeah.
And even if they're not gaining from it in their current lifetime, someone else could, and they can share it.
Yeah. I have it down as number 2.
Oh, I want to say it. I want to.
Next week, bud.
I want to say it.
Next week, bud.
Oh, that's like a whole episode just on those 2 things right there.
I know.
Because that can lead into so many other questions, and
I know. But we're already 48 minutes in.
I don't know. How about this? Next episode, we're going to talk about timelines and multiverses and time paradoxes and paragons and
Okay.
and what's the name of that? What's the word? I can't think.
Multiverse?
No, I can't think.
Can you describe it?
Oh, I'm so close. It's so close.
It's like on the tip of your tongue.
It's so close. Like I can think of it, but I can't exactly say it. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's a doppelganger.
Oh, doppelganger.
Yeah, doppelganger. It's like there's 2 P's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, doppelganger and stuff, and multiverses, and basically a whole science episode.
Yeah. All right, folks. You know next week's plot. You're welcome.
All right, and we'll call that for this episode, and that's pretty much everything. Do you have anything else, bud?
Did you want to talk about coping strategies that you have for anxiety?
I already did.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
It's all one thing.
Yeah, you're right. Dumb.
Yeah, it's all one thing.
Yeah, you're right. I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
You're not dumb. You're not dumb. You're not
I'm
stupid.
dumb.
Don't call yourself that.
I'm dumb.
You're not
I'm dumb, but
You're
I'm
not
smart. And I'm smart, but I'm dumb.
Oh, here's a last minute thing since we're talking about all that we talked about today. Words are spells.
Huh?
Words are spells.
Words or spells?
Yeah, words are magic.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that as in a question. It's like, words are spells?
I'm meaning that in a statement. Words are spells.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand what I'm going with
Yes,
this?
now I do.
Okay. The words are spells. So, for example, Chase was just calling himself, I'm a dum-dum, I'm stupid, and I'm basically Patrick over here, right? He's calling himself that. If you call yourself stupid, your brain physically and scientifically doesn't know the difference between stupid and wrong and being dumb and being right. Because realistically, there's no such thing as right or wrong, right? It's just whatever your belief system is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, since there's technically, there's technically no such thing as right or wrong, right? Mm-hmm. So, since your brain, since that's how literally the physical brain works, that's how our physical body is staying alive. If you're calling yourself stupid all the time, you're gonna be stupid. You're gonna act stupid. You're gonna say you're gonna see yourself as a stupid person. And eventually, if you keep going down that line, you're not going to want to be a physical form any longer. You're just going to be your astral form forever. But yeah, your words are spells. So, since he said that, tell yourself I love yourself.
No.
Do it.
No.
Tell yourself I love myself.
No.
Do it.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why won't you?
No.
Why won't you tell yourself I love myself?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't love myself.
Bro, are you being for real?
I hate myself, but I love myself at the same time.
You just said you love yourself, but you just contradicted. So why do you hate yourself? Now this is therapy time. Therapy time, just like we had in the good old days. Why do you hate yourself? Why do you hate yourself?
All right, folks, that's the end of the episode.
No, bro. Why do you hate yourself? We gotta talk about this now.
I don't hate myself.
Then why'd you say it?
Because it was a joke.
No, it wasn't. Because then you would have said it.
Oh God. The life that we live with.
The life that you live with me. I catch your butt on everything and anything. I even do it to my own personal people that I live with.
I know. I know. I used to do it to you all the time in high school. So.
I know I'm doing it to you. I always have done it to you.
I would say we've both done it to each other quite a few times.
Yeah. Not even just quite a few. Like sometimes almost every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Every now and then, there's definitely a few circumstances where we do it to each other every single day.
Yeah.
So tell yourself you love yourself then.
I love myself.
There you go. I'll say it 2 more times.
I love myself. I love myself. I love
Yay!
myself. I said it 3 times.
Alright, that's it for this episode 4. Tune back in next time.
Alright, we'll see you next time. Hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for listening in.
Oh yeah, join our Discord too. It'll be in the description below and inside the comments as well.
Yeah.
The Discord server is an app where you can talk to us and you can chat with us and you can bring up new ideas and you can bring up
whatever your mind is thinking.
Yeah, even if you just want to go and vent in one of the tech servers, go and do it. Just have fun.
Or if you just want to say hi.
Yeah, just say hi and hello, and we'll just say hi back and give you a wave, and yeah, just have a good time and full of positivity and stuff. That's it. But yeah, go join this Discord. Please like and comment and subscribe and be on Spotify and podcast very soon.
Yay!
Later, nerds.
Okay. See ya.
Good. You playing with a little Lego airplane?
Yeah.
Oh,
flying
he picked it up. He's flying through the air.
Oh my God! It's flying down. It's going down.